make a tied fleece blanket, you need 2 pieces of fleece. They can be the same color, they can be coordinating colors, whichever kind you like. 2 pieces, a ruler or a tape measure or a yardstick, and scissors. The first thing to do is lay your first piece of fleece face down. This is the side that you want to show for the blanket, so you're going to place that down on your table. Now you want your 2 pieces of fleece to be the same size. A standard blanket is usually about 48 by 60 for a lap quilt or something around that size. But you can make them any size you want. You can use a smaller size for a baby blanket, and you can go as big as a king size bed with some really giant pieces of fleece. But you want the 2 pieces the same size, and you're going to place them right side out. So you're going to have the right side on the bottom, and then you're going to lie your next one. You're going to put the right side up so that that's facing out as well. And you're going to line them up together all the way down. Trim any edges if you need. Make sure they're nice and flat and even. To start making the blanket, you're going to want to cut a piece out of each side. About 4 inches by 4 inches. If you're making a smaller blanket, it could be smaller, 3 by 3. You don't really want to go much smaller than that, even for a baby blanket. And that's to make sure that the material doesn't bunch up when you tie it. So you're going to cut a 4-inch square from all 4 corners. Now, something that works well for me is if you just take a piece of paper and line it up, then you know that all your pieces will be the same size. Cut through both pieces of fleece at the same time so that you have the exact same dimensions. And do that for all 4 corners of your blanket. Once you have all 4 corners cut, you're now going to cut strips all around the sides of the blanket. I'm going to start with the small side, and this is where you need your ruler or your tape measure. I use a ruler or a yardstick because I've cut through tape measures before, and you don't really want to do that. You want to cut strips about every inch, and you don't want to go past your line where you cut your square. So if you just kind of lay your ruler or your tape measure here, and you're going to cut strips again through both pieces of fleece about every inch. Nothing has to be exact with these blankets. Fleece is very forgiving, and when you tie them, you can pull them a little tighter or looser depending on where your strips are cut. But approximately every inch, and you're going to just continue to cut strips all the way down the side. Once you finish one side, turn your fleece around, line up your ruler again, and do the same thing for the next side. And just keep cutting 1-inch strips all around all 4 sides, and make sure you cut through both pieces of fleece at the same time. Having a fabric scissor or a good sharp scissor will certainly help make cutting easier. But again, if you're having trouble or if pieces are not quite even, fleece is very forgiving, and this will work even if your strips are a little bit disorganized and not lined up. Once you have strips cut on all 4 sides of your blanket, it's time to start tying the pieces together to assemble your blanket. And all you have to do is take 2 strips, 1 from each piece of fleece, and simply tie it. Now, you can tie it twice to make a knot if you want. You can tie it 1 time. You can do whichever you want. Don't pull it too tight. Tie it, and you have your ends. Then you move on to the next piece, and you do the same thing. Tie it. I always like to tie it twice so that it stays closed even when you wash it. It doesn't come loose. If somebody pulls on it, especially if you're giving it to a child who might pull on it, it'll stay tighter, better. But just go all the way down the side, tying knots in each set of strips, all the way around all 4 sides of the blanket. And that's all you have to do. Just keep going and keep tying. And just keep tying all your sides, all your strips. It's a lot of strips, no matter what size blanket you make. It does take a little bit of time, but it's a simple project, something that you could do while you're watching TV, or while you're just sitting and talking with friends. Tie all your strips. Once you finish, check all around the sides to make sure you haven't missed any. And then you can fluff up your blanket. And there you go. You have a tied fleece blanket. You can use the same technique to make a pillow or to make a dog bed or a cat bed. You would just put a piece of foam or a pillow form inside the fleece before you start to tie the end shut. And then once it's tied, it won't fall out, and you're all set.